All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show on Onebar with Lupagus. So we got the man Luke Braun in the house, Locked On Vikings. It's draft week. There's no way in hell we're going draft week without having Luke Braun on. Luke, happy draft week. How the hell are you doing?
Doing great. Stressed, cramming for exams, not sleeping. Firing on all cylinders.
Sounds great. Worth it. Do you I mean, at this point in the draft, are you kind of happy it's getting over, or are you sad?
I always feel like, man, I wish I had another week because I always procrastinate. But I like some people, like if you're the kind of person who's like watching prospects by December, you're begging for this to be over. I probably didn't get serious this year until like March 20th. So I'm going, oh crap. Wow. There's like 20 other guys that I'm not going to be able to watch that I wish I could watch.
we got a handful of questions, but I got to ask, like, how deep do you go, or is it just different based off positions? Like in round 5 and round 6, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
I'll have like 2 guys. Yeah. So my goal is to get the most likely positions for the Vikings. So I've watched corners, safeties, D tackles, running backs, that kind of stuff. And to get like anybody in the top 100 for that. So like first couple days, I'll hopefully have this, nice prepackaged, okay, I've watched this guy. Here's what I think about him. Here's my thing. Maybe I've got a video. And then once you get to day 3, all bets are off. And then I'm going, I don't know who that dude from Louisville is. We'll watch him later. Like, and I'm fine with that. It's day 3. Yeah.
Yep. When we do round 7 videos, we pretty much just read this.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Up.
He's really
I'll have
good.
Brugler's beast up for my day 3 live stream.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Kenneth Grant seems to be kind of your boy that you're like, maybe a pipe dream, the guy you want at 24. Who's kind of who's your consolation prize?
Consolation prize. Yeah. Like, so the way it works, there's like a handful of people I'm like pretty excited about. And actually a lot of the guys that I like at 24 are not guys that are going to be that are going to go at 24. These are second rounders that I like Savon Revel, Eastern Carolina. They took him at 24. I'd be happy. And I think I'd be the only person happy, but I would love it. If you can't get Kenneth Grant, if you're looking at a D tackle, Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, again, more of a day 2 guy, but I would like it. Derek Harmon is the name you're going to hear a lot about. He from Oregon, a very like zone / one gap kind of get in, penetrate, make chaos kind of guy. That I think is a little bit of a one-trick pony and might have a little more development than than you might think coming out. But that's kind of okay. The Vikings have Javon Hargrave. They've got Jonathan Allen. You got time to teach this guy, a little bit more footwork and stuff, or like different pass rush moves, or like whatever you want to do. So that guy, I feel like is very likely to be the pick at 24 if they do end up stuck picking at 24. There's a couple of safeties, of course, Malachi Starks, Nick Ebenwari, that are very likely to be Vikings. I see them both as second rounders, so I would call them a reach if it happened, but it seems pretty likely to. Both of those guys are like pure cover safeties to me. They're not box guys at all. They don't, get their shoulder down and hit. They're not like, Lewis Seen coming out was like a piss missile, right? Like he would just blow you the absolute heck up. These guys are not that. And maybe you're happy that those guys are not like Lewis Seen, right? Mm-hmm. But they're a little bit less Harrison Smith, a little bit more Cam Bynum, and they just let Cam Bynum walk. So I don't know how enthused they're going to be about that kind of guy.
Also, I got to say quick, you did check out Luke's video on Derek Harmon, A+. It was good stuff. And also they used to call Lupagus piss whistle. Not piss missile, piss whistle.
Piss whistle?
Just
piss
whistle. Don't even ask.
Okay.
It speaks for itself.
It's good advice. I'm not gonna.
I think I need to know about this. Lewis Seen piss missile just turned out to be piss. All right, Luke, do you want the Vikings to trade down, and do you think they will trade down?
Desperately, I want them to. I think this draft. This draft sucks. Okay, it sucks. It sucks to be anywhere below 5 in this draft. You've got like a couple of quarterbacks, Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, and everyone else is questionable. The player you get at 15 and the player you get at 35 are like the same dude. So yes, I would love to see them go back a little bit, pick up some extra picks, and probably still get the same quality of guy. But can they is the question. I think they're going to be motivated to as well. But who comes up in that environment? Who's going to go, hey, you could get the same level of guy at 20 or 30. I'm going to go up to 24. Like, who's going to do that? And I think maybe one thing going for Kwesi is that in the past, he has taken like below market rate deals. He's taken like not the best compensation to go back or to go up because of how he feels the board is. Right. When he traded up for Dallas Turner, he paid a premium because he thought he was getting a top 10 player there. That's how they had him on the board. Top 10 overall, like a blue chip player is how they viewed Dallas Turner. And they made that trade. And it was the same thing with the Scene trade. Now, those evaluations, you can say, were they right or not? But the logic is, okay, maybe if I go back 6 spots and I only get a 4th round pick, that's not enough usually, but it's still better. And I still feel good about my evaluation. So I'm going to do it. So Kwesi might be the kind of guy willing to take a cruddy deal because it's something and persuade a team to do it. That's where the intrigue is for me. Can they trade down? Who's the partner? Who's going to come up? Are the Giants going to come up for a quarterback after passing on Shadur Sanders and they're going to trade up and take Jackson Dart? Is that the thing we're doing? Or is there going to be a receiver falling or some other guy, tumbling through the draft? I just heard about Jihad Campbell, big, really popular off-ball linebacker, probably not going to be the biggest priority for the Vikings, having medical issues, checks that teams don't like. But if there's one team that's not bothered by it and they go, oh my God, this guy's falling, let's come up. Who's that going to be? That's the interesting.
Also, I just got to mention real quick on one of your videos, Deion Walker, who you said you don't even know if he's draftable.
I would not draft Deion Walker. That dude is awful. He does not pass rush, does not take on a double. He's slow and out of shape, but otherwise we're doing great. I have him in a tier in my big board that's called maybe if you move to fullback.
Wow. Hell of a fullback. That'd be fun. It's crazy, man. Everybody that comes on kind of says
JJ Pegues, right? There's precedent. Yes. I have Deion Walker in that tier with Ollie Gordon. Those are 2 players that I would not spend a draft pick on. Priority free agent.
Be very excited as an undrafted free agent. Do you think there's a slated starter right now when you look at the depth chart after the Vikings did all their work on free agency? Is there a starter that could still possibly lose their job from that round 3 pick and on?
Like to a day 3 guy? Depends on your definition of starter. I think you're looking at like Theo Jackson, right? And he just signed a contract. They expect contribution out of him, but then they go draft some safety that you get really excited about. Andrew Makuba, guy out of Texas. I love this guy. Could be available in the 3rd round, or if they trade down to pick 40, he could be there. That kind of guy could come in and like take those reps away and compete with Theo Jackson, or maybe even up the line a little bit, start taking away, start spelling Harrison Smith, and maybe you take him off the field a little more this year or something if you want to keep him fresh. That's one. I like the corners, Isaiah Rodgers, Mekhi Blackman probably competing with each other for reps. Add another rookie to that mix. Maybe he takes something away. And then Blake Brandel, extraordinarily vulnerable player, currently already in competitions, but with like Michael Jurgens and Walter Rouse. Like, what if Tyler Booker shows up, right? Or what if they grab a Gray Zabel and he's they're all really excited about him. I think Gray Zabel needs a lot of time before he's ready. He's very project-y to me, but that kind of guy.
All right. Is there a player at 24 that you're absolutely horrified the Vikings could take? That'd just be an absolute disaster in your opinion?
It's kind of the most likely guys. I don't like the safeties. I don't think I'm that mad about them. Boy, just absolutely horrified that they could take. Zabel would probably be my guy. There's a lot of steam about Gray Zabel. He is, North Dakota tackle, right? Now, my take has nothing to do with him being at North Dakota. You can tell that he is just absolutely the kind of athlete that should have been at a bigger school. I don't know why he ended up going to NDSU. I haven't researched it. I'm sure there's a very good reason. But that reason to me, I'd be very surprised to find out that he was like a 2-star recruit or something like that, or like a 1-star recruit, and he couldn't get any other scholarships. But he is just really, really raw. I don't like the way he sets up in the pass. I don't like the way he uses his hands at all. I don't like the posture that he sets up with. There's just all these things you have to rebuild. So you give him to Chris Cooper and say, reteach this guy how to play. Okay, that's going to take a while. But hey, if you don't like him at tackle, because he's a little small for a tackle, so you want to move him into center because he's heady and he can snap. He did that at the Senior Bowl and teams seemed satisfied with it. Then sure, it's going to take a while, right? So I don't know. Center that takes 2 years to play at pick 24 doesn't feel great to me.
God, feels disgusting. Are you when it comes to guard? Well, I'll save that one. What's your confidence level for Kwesi? And maybe it's never been shooken, but what's your confidence level with this draft going into it?
The same as it always is. The draft is a way less skillful thing than we want it to be. It doesn't matter how good you are at the draft. There are so many unprojectable things about how a guy is going to transition to the league, the role he's going to end up having, random stuff like, I always think back to 2016. They take Treadwell because they think, okay, we got wide receiver. Now we have a wide receiver that's supposed to be our main guy. And we didn't even really know that Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen were good yet. And then those guys blow up. And they're like, even if Treadwell was an okay receiver, he's never going to take over for those two guys that end up being superstars. And you just don't know that stuff. Too many random weird things. Guy gets hurt and it ruins his whole development, right? That happened to Lewis Seen. You fire a defensive coordinator or lose him to a head coaching job, and now everything's different. All that stuff can change everything you do, but you got to pick somebody. So to me, it's as much of a crapshoot as it ever has been. But I will say after the 2022 disaster draft, things have seemed a lot more stable. You get different scouts in. Kwesi's changed his approach a little bit, and I think that the lessons that needed to be learned from that draft were learned. But I don't know. Outside of like Jordan Addison, who can I even judge this on? Like I can't judge your JJ McCarthy pick. He hasn't played yet.
True. All right. So some quick hitters. We're gonna give you a name. You're gonna say yay or nay at pick 24. Are you ready?
Okay.
God, he's so nervous.
All right. Malachi Starks.
Nay.
Donovan Jackson.
Sure. Yeah.
Trey Amos.
Nay. But love it in a second. Same as Starks.
Was going to say Gray Zabel. I'm going to take him off. Any wide receiver.
Nay. There ain't that guy.
Let's go Jahdae Barron.
Yay.
It's very positive. Walter Nolan.
Nay. I have him as a third rounder.
Holy balls. Wow, Walter Nolan.
You can't take a double. You can't play on run. He's a third down only player. Okay. He's Patrick Jones. Jihad Ward. Congratulations.
I believe you, man.
Players.
I love it.
Don't piss me.
I have so many hot takes this year. I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm like wildly off of consensus on some of these guys.
Well, you mentioned in a lot of your and you already said it in this video. You don't really like this draft. No. What about what happens if? I mean, what about in that round 2 area when maybe somebody starts to slide, maybe a Gray Zabel, a Jackson, whatever? Like, what about the thought of giving up a draft pick next year to get back up into round 2? Does that just?
I don't think that's necessary because you can get perfectly fine guys anyways. If you pick someone at 24, you're telling me that you're pretty stoked on that guy. And I don't think you need to go spend another pick to get up and get another guy. I don't think you need to be that greedy. If you're going to pick, if we're picking in round 2, we traded down into round 2. And then I get a lot more, okay, the risks of a guy like Gray Zabel or someone like Benjamin Morrison. Love that guy's tape. Awesome corner. Disastrous medicals. Hip problem, might never be the same guy he was in college. So much risk. But you trade down, you get an extra pick, and suddenly that risk gets a little, because, hey, even if he doesn't work out, we got this other third rounder that might work out. You can diversify, right? Wall Street guy probably understands that.
100%. So Kwesi, the Wall Street guy, did come out and say that the Vikings do need to address the tight end position. How early do you see them doing that in this draft, if at all?
Oh, deep day 3. I mean, look, Josh Oliver contract here, so you're looking for tight end 2, tight end 3 kind of guy. Tight end 2, round 4, 5, but you're not. The second rounder is not tight end 2, right? Unless you want to, if Tyler Warren falls to them and they're going to say, okay, we're going to do the Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski thing, sans charges, then maybe we're going to make that our offense just out of opportunism. That's different to me though than, oh shoot, we need like a sensible blocking tight end. Okay, that's a 5th round pick to me. Give me my Tyler Conklin.
Mm-hmm. Conklin. Oh man, love him. Is there a position like we squashed everything in free agency? Not everything, but we did some work in free agency. Is there do you feel like this draft could just go off the rails where everyone's like, geez, we didn't even take a corner? I mean, do you think it could get crazy as far as the positions we actually take? And is there a position that you feel could surprise everybody watching that nobody expected?
Definitely would be open to surprises because of what you said, right? There's no like immediate short-term emergency needs. Even corner, which I do think you need to add another body to that room. If they didn't, you would at least be like, okay, then they just are really high on Blackman, and there's like a point that they could be making that's reasonable. And I think that's probably the scarcest position. Everybody else, you got somebody starting this year, and you're looking more for next year needs. And then when you look at contracts that are set to expire, suddenly the world gets a lot more open. Yeah, a tight end 2 could be a thing. A tackle, if they don't want to bring Brian O'Neill back as he's getting older and they want to get cheaper there, that wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. Addison's contract expires in a couple years. He's got the suspension, a wide receiver. Like, sure, like I said before, I don't think that there's that guy that like makes you want to go do something awkward in this draft. I just don't think they're good enough for it. But, if there was a falling CeeDee Lamb in this draft, the Vikings are in a spot, they could totally set themselves up to make that work out. If they feel way higher on a guy than I do. So, yeah, you could get to a lot of surprises, but you'll get less surprised if you think of the draft as you're drafting for whatever your need's going to be in 2 years, not your need right now.
What about running back? You haven't mentioned running back. No go? Mason, Jones?
I don't like any of them as first-round players generally, and I know a couple of them are going to go in the first round, and I'm just going to disagree with that. But there's actually one running back I would love to see, and it seems like he's going to fall because he split time with Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State's Travion Henderson. It seems like he's going to fall and be like available in day 2. And he is the guy that I have liked the most of the running backs that I've watched. Not comprehensive, but I did like him better than Omarion Hampton and Ashton Genty. Wow. And it's almost certain that he goes after those guys. So I think there's like value there. But for me, a first round running back has to kind of be like an offense defining guy, right? He has to, change the game for you a little bit. And that, like, I would say Dalvin Cook, the way that he sort of defined that it was run first. This team ran through Dalvin Cook for a couple years. I think you have to be that good. And I just don't see anybody quite that. And even that's borderline to me. He was a second rounder. That was probably appropriate. But like, I don't see Ashton Genty being Saquon Barkley and like, oh my God, the running back is the guy we have to prepare for the most. No, he seems like just a pretty good starter in the league. And to me, for a running back, that's a second. So I don't like any first round running backs, but hey, again, trade back and the world starts to open up. There are a couple guys I love a lot in the mid rounds.
Nice. Yeah. All right, Luke, 1 week from now, we're going to have a brand new Minnesota Viking picked in the first round, maybe in the second round, but who will be the Vikings' first pick? You're betting your favorite body part on it. Who's it going to be?
My favorite body part.
Wow, piss whistle. Oh, really bringing out the big guns here, man.
Speaking of a piss missile.
Yeah.
I'm trying to predict the pick.
Just who you think it is. Like,
who you think? Favorite body parts on the line.
Nick Emenwari. So Tyler Forness, I don't know if you guys know him. He's been on my show every week. He's been tracking mock drafts for like 3 years. And the most popular mock draft guy is actually like pretty good at predicting the pick for the Vikings. Like it's always like in the top 3. You think about it, like it's been obvious a lot of these couple of years. JJ McCarthy was like far and away the top guy last year in all the mock drafts for the Vikings. Dallas Turner was actually really high on their list too, on those mock draft lists too. It predicted Jordan Addison. Like it predicted this idea is pretty predictive. And Emenwari right now is far and away the biggest one. So I'm just going to kind of go with that methodology. But hey, Harrison Smith's successor, big time athlete, fast, give it to Brian Flores, that kind of thing. And maybe I'm wrong about his physicality. He's just a little bit careful with the way that he approaches guys, and he's not very good at angles. So there's like some really gnarly missed whiff tackles on there, that the kind of stuff that will make you immediately really, really pissed at the guy forever. There's some of that. So I'm concerned about that, but I think the more that I think about these safeties, I think I like Emenwari better than Starks. So I guess that's the one I would have an easier time coming to grips with. But hey, trade down, get into the second round, all this stuff gets way easier for me, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Hell yes. Luke, we appreciate you. You're busy as hell. Get your butts over to Locked On Vikings. Like I said, tons of draft videos over there. We got till Thursday. Also, I learned that you like butternut squash and started playing chess. So I appreciate the little nuggets there as well.
Yeah, those things. Very good. a good butternut squash soup, like
butternut squash soup.
Roast it, a little brown sugar, a little nutmeg or something, like right around the start of football season. Blend that thing up, cook it off. Ooh,
jeez. Do you put the bowl like cereal of milk up, or you just leave it hanging? When you get down to the drippings.
I've been known to drink the bowl. However, when I think the last time I did that, I made bread bowls too.
Oh, nice.
Too fancy for us, man. Too fancy.
Luke should cook for us sometime.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the life of a
Great show.
podcaster. You suddenly find a lot of free time. Not a lot of ways to contribute to society. Okay. I needed to learn something in the end times.
Well, we
they're not keeping
appreciate
the
you, man.
podcasters alive.
Links down in the description. Hit them up. I'm sure you'll be busting out content left and right all weekend.
big time.
And we appreciate you hopping on, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Anytime, boys.
Appreciate it.